Elizabeth, wedding photographer based in San Diego. One of you in the comments requested that I do a video. Actually, it wasn't in the comments, it was on an Instagram message. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you can do that at Captain Elizabeth. But somebody on Instagram suggested to me that I make a video about when it comes to the portraits, who should stand next to the bride, what happens if there's two maids of honor, basically how I arrange the group shots for bridal party. This is going to be a pretty quick video because there's not a whole lot to it. Now, most of my couples aren't super set on having the best man or the maid of honor stand right next to them. They trust me to make kind of positioning. Sometimes the maid of honor or the best man might be like a little bit too tall and it looks off. So they defer to my judgment on arranging groups. Now, some of my couples are a little bit stronger set on having that person stand right next to them. Now for that, that's totally fine. I will make it work. But usually I'm just thinking based off of height and balance and who should go where, especially for the large group shot with all of the guys and the girls. I no longer pose those with all of the ladies on the right, all of the men on the left. I mix it up. I've just found it makes for much better balance in photos. Other photographers might feel differently. This is just my preference. It's like one of those things, once you start doing it, you're like, I can never go back. So I love the balance of it. I really like mixing them up. I think it makes it look more pleasing to the eye. It's not like all the ladies in the same exact dress on this side and all the men on this side in the dark suits. It's just too heavy in my eyes. Personal opinion, if you like the all separated, great. Tell your photographer. But if you're working with me, I'm probably going to pose you guys mixed up because I think that's what works best. And thankfully my couples love me and trust me, and they'll do whatever I suggest because they know I'm going to make it work. So when it comes to putting them next to each other, again, I'm not always focused on that. Sometimes if I feel like it'll look nice, I will put the maid of honor or the best man next to the bride or the groom respectively. In a large shot, I will try to do that. In the all girls shot, all women shot, I will typically put the maid of honor next to the bride, and then I will just balance out the bridesmaids as I see fit when it comes to composition and balance in my frame. That is how I prefer to do it. If I have, for example, like 4 blondes and 3 brunettes, I'm not going to stick all the brunettes on one side, all the blondes on the other side. It would look off to me. So I'm going to balance people. If I have a couple of really tall people, I'm not going to stick them all on the side and then it's this like weird thing. I'm going to balance it really nicely. I'm going to create triangles in my frame. That is very pleasing to the eye. It is a great rule of composition. So that is typically what I'm going for. Now, if you have 2 maids of honor for the bride, I'm probably going to stick them on either side of you. Now, if it is in a very large group shot and I'm kind of balancing everybody out where the bride is next to the groom, I might put a maid of honor next to the bride, or I might just put a groomsman next to the bride to make more balance. So it's one of those things where I think it's best to kind of refer to the photographer, but if you feel really strongly about having your maid of honor or your best man right next to you, you can voice that, and that's totally fine. I don't feel like it's a huge priority visually, so as long as it's not like a weird height difference or something that looks really distracting, then I'm totally fine doing that, and I will typically try to do that if I can. Now, if you've got 2 maids of honor in a large group shot and they clearly both can't stand next to you, hopefully they're mature enough to not really care so much about that. In that case, maybe if one of them is your best friend and the other is like your closest cousin, I don't know, you're going to be the one who's going to need to pick. Or maybe if one's the sister, I'll put the sister next to the bride and the other maid of honor can be somewhere else. That is kind of how I will do it. I usually don't encounter anybody being upset about not standing next to the bride or groom. Thankfully, if you have a bridal party that is giving you difficulties about that, all you have to say is just put it on the photographer. Say, hey, she knows what she's doing. She's going to arrange this in a way that looks really great, or he is going to arrange this in a way that looks really great. That's all you really have to say. Put that decision on me. I always want people to be positive and cheery and good team players because we're all here for the bride and groom. It is what they want that matters most, and it's my job to give them that and also bring my expertise to the table. So that's kind of a roundabout way of saying that I will typically try to put the best man maid of honor next to the bride or groom, but if it kind of looks funky in the photos in a large group shot, then I will change it up unless they feel really strongly about it, in which case we'll just leave it as is. But I think it's on the photographer to make sure that the photo looks pleasing, and again, if you have a strong feeling, you need to voice that nicely, and then the photographer should be able to accommodate it. Anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to subscribe if you have not, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!